What's up guys, Benny here and welcome to the 7 most overpowered guns in Warzone right now. These are the meta weapons that you should be using in your loadouts that are going to get you the most kills and wins that you possibly can. And to be perfectly honest with you, the entire meta has changed a lot with a load of the recent updates and changes to time to kill, the nerf to the 4 times on the C58. So I just want to make sure that you're best kitted out to go into the game. And if you are new around here, please do take a second, hit that subscribe button, as 60% of you watching are not subscribed to the channel. And I promise you'll get better at Warzone. But let's get into the first gun. So the first most overpowered weapon in Call of Duty Warzone, we have the classic Kar 98K. And that's because snipers are just becoming more and more overpowered as the game's average time to kill is being increased. If you're a good sniper, having the ability to quickly down an opponent as an opener in a big team fight is a huge advantage, as it has the potential to take 2 players out of the game as one goes for a revive. It's also sometimes your only opportunity to make a push across open ground or beat a full squad by yourself, as you can quickly get that pick to break the fight up and give yourself a chance. Now, I honestly believe aggressive, high mobility snipers are going to become more and more meta as we move forwards, if the time to kill continues to increase. It's also one of the reasons you see snipers used a lot more in pro player private matches, because it has the undisputed fastest time to kill because of the one-shot headshot potential. Also, with the Kar 98K, you get to take full advantage of Modern Warfare weapon aim assist, as well as incredible aiming stability that just makes it a much more consistent weapon compared to the Swiss, for example, which, though is overpowered, is still having a couple issues with its reticle, which I'm sure will be corrected. But if you're not, spend some time learning to get better with the Swiss and the Kar, because they seem to be getting more and more overpowered every single update. Though the only downside with the Kar 98K is that sometimes it can take 3 bullets to down an opponent at a distance if you're not landing those upper chest shots and headshots. On the Kar 98K itself, you'll want to have the monolithic suppressor, the Singard custom 27.6 barrel, the tac laser, sniper scope, and then the ST Volt precision comb stock for that better aiming stability. Also, remember to choose the reticle you prefer most. Next, for the most overpowered weapons in Warzone, we have everyone's favorite SMG, the MAC-10. Now, even though there are other weapons that have similar time to kill or even faster time to kill potential than the MAC is very, very good because of its high fire rate of over 1,000 rounds per minute. It means that every bullet you fire isn't as big as a deal compared to a slower fire rate weapon like the Milano. So if you do miss, you can correct your aim and still get a very fast time to kill. And that's why I'd recommend everyone to use the MAC-10. You've got incredible mobility, one of the best time to kills up close, and also a weapon that can actually beam an opponent at a distance if you need to, which is one of the reasons I like using the MAC-10 with a sniper. And actually, to be completely honest, it's the reason I like using the MAC-10 with pretty much any loadout of mine in Warzone. It doesn't matter if I'm using an LMG, an assault rifle, a sniper, the MAC-10 will slot nicely into that loadout and allow you to perform really, really well at close range. And also, as I said, if you need to land a few shots at a distance, the MAC-10 is also going to be able to do that. So as you can see, there are very few cons to the MAC-10, but there are quite a few different viable builds that you can use in the game. But personally, I'd suggest using the Agency Suppressor, the Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, 53 round mag, and then finally, the Raider stock. Next, I want to slot in an extra gun that I honestly didn't expect to have in this video last week, and that's the AK-74U, which has become a very, very good SMG after True Game Data figured out that there is now only 2 damage profiles for SMGs, making them a lot more viable as sniper support weapons. And if you're a skillful player and can consistently land your headshots, it also has one of the fastest time to kills up close in the game now, and even if you land body shots, it's only just a little bit slower than the MAC-10. Obviously, some things to take into account. It's got a lower fire rate, so if you do miss shots, you'll be punished more heavily compared to the MAC-10. But because of how you can drop enemies at a distance, similar to the Milano performed pre-patch, the AK-74U is a weapon you really want to make sure you go ahead and try out. Plus, it had a slight bullet velocity increase, making it even better at those longer ranges. 49 damage for a headshot, 34 to the chest, and then 31 to the extremities. Now, on the AK-74U, you're going to want the standard suppressor. This helps make it more mobile, and the increased damage range attachments from the GRU aren't as important anymore due to there only being 2 damage range profiles. You then want, for the class setup, the Task Force barrel for increased mobility and bullet velocity, making it easier for you to hit your targets at those further distances. Then you want the Spetsnaz grip for better recoil control, the 50-round drum, and then the skeletal stock before finishing off the build with a sight. Then in 5th place for the most overpowered weapons in Warzone right now, we have the Krig. Now, the Krig used to be a weapon in Warzone that everyone sort of overlooked because it didn't hit as hard as other assault rifles, with 45 damage for a headshot and 33 to the chest, up to 38 meters before dropping down to 38 and 28 at a distance. However, within the game's meta now, with the average time to kill being increased, the Krig has sort of evolved to be in a place where the Kilo used to be. It's super easy to use with no recoil whatsoever. It's very easy for a skilled player to land consistent headshots with the Krig. And though it's got an okay fire rate of 652 rounds per minute, the ability for the Krig to control long-range engagements is second to none, especially more so with the correction to the C58's recoil with the 4x optic. But on the Krig, you want to run the agency suppressor, the Ranger barrel, the field agent grip, 45 round mag, so not to slow down your ADS speeds, and then the actual arms 3x optic is what I personally prefer the most, and it's now a beamer. Next up, we have the Cold War AK-47, which has actually been in the game's meta for a while now, but with recent changes, it's become the perfect sniper support weapon. It's got a solid time to kill at all ranges because of its high damage output and fire rate, but it's also a gun that is super easy to use. Now, the Cold War AK-47 no longer dominates the close range, with a lot of SMGs now having a faster time to kill unless you land constant headshots, which is hard to do, but as a sniper support weapon, the Cold War AK is just a great all-rounder and should definitely be put into your loadouts. But its new damage profile of 54 damage for a headshot, 36 to the chest and extremities still allows you to get a 5-bullet kill on a fully armored opponent if you land just headshots, or 1 chest shot and 4 body shots. So in real terms, the time to kill is still very effective, though in my personal opinion, the Cold War AK is just one of my favorite guns in the game right now because of how versatile it is. And with the upcoming perk changes, it could be one of the go-to choices due to its versatility. Now, I personally prefer a high mobility build when using the AK-47 as sniper support, as I want a fast ADS. So for that reason, I run the regular suppressor for faster sprint to fire and ADS. Then the Spetsnaz grip, the RPK barrel, and then the 45 round mag so I don't increase my ADS speed. And then finally, I use either the actual arms 3x scope, or I go ahead and use the Microflex LED for close range, but it all comes down to personal preference. So the 3rd place overpowered weapon in Warzone right now is the Swiss Sniper. And that's because as the game's average time to kill is increased, it's actually a big buff to snipers because you're still going to get that 1 headshot kill. And that's not taking into account the improved ADS animation and better reticle. And then what makes the Swiss so powerful is the fact that along with that ability to get one-shot kills, it's got incredible mobility, making it perfect for aggressive gameplay, as you can quickly get your shot off accurately with a bunch of the available attachments, increasing aiming stability. This means a skilled sniper is going to be able to open up enemy squads very quickly, taking enemies off head glitches or other power positions, forcing their teammates to either play more aggressively or go for the res, which makes what was a 4v4 into a 4v2, giving your team the chance to rush in and wipe the rest of the squad with ease. What also makes the Swiss so great is the fact it also does 180 damage for a chest shot. This means you can actually finish an opponent that's fully plated in just 2 shots if you don't land that headshot, which is insane. Now, on the Swiss itself, you'll first of all want the GRU suppressor, then the 24.9 combat recon barrel, the SWAT 5MW laser, the bruiser grip, and then the serpent grip to finish it off. This build gives you a really fast ADS as well as great aiming stability, so you can center your crosshairs and snap right onto your opponent's head, which is definitely worth doing. Then in second place for the most overpowered weapons in Warzone Season 4 Reloaded, we see the return of the most used SMG in Warzone history, the Modern Warfare MP5. This thing is back at the top of the meta and the best SMG to use in Warzone right now. It honestly has it all. Incredible hip fire, a high damage profile with a faster time to kill, great mobility with different builds to suit your individual playstyle, and the mode that you're playing. If you're not using it already, this is the SMG that you should be using in Warzone right now, and I forgot how fun it is to use as well. One of the major benefits with the Modern Warfare MP5 is that you also get to take advantage of Modern Warfare's weapon aim assist, which should not be taken for granted. This allows you to center and snap onto your opponents far better than Cold War weapons, which is ridiculous that it's even a thing, but you know, it is. So you'll notice when using a Modern Warfare MP5, you can easily center your crosshairs, and when you go to ADS, you'll pretty much just snap onto your opponent, making it really easy to use and giving you the fastest time to kill possible, as it's harder to miss your shots. Sadly, it's not the same for mouse and keyboard players, but nonetheless, the MP5 will still be your go-to SMG. The build that I personally use for the MP5 is the Monolithic Integral Suppressor, the 5MW laser, Merc foregrip, 45 round mag, and then I use Sleight of Hand for the faster reload, which comes in handy when playing aggressively in trios and quads especially. Then in first place for the most overpowered weapons in Warzone right now, we have the C58 assault rifle. Now, one of the reasons that the C58 is still overpowered even after the fix to the 4x scope is that the recoil is definitely manageable, especially if you use the 3x optic instead. You could barely notice the change. But right now, it's the best AR for medium to long range, dealing 54 damage for a headshot and 36 to the chest, though it does have a slower fire rate at 553 rounds per minute. But that's made up by its damage profile, which gives you that fast time to kill potential. Now, the only con really with the C58 is, like I said, that low fire rate, which means if you do struggle with your accuracy and you do miss shots, that time to kill is going to drop heavily, especially if you're in a one-on-one gunfight with someone and are also getting hit, so you do get that bit of flinch thrown in as well. But otherwise, there's no other assault rifle I'd even consider using right now, even though there's a bunch of viable weapons with the recent changes from the Growl, the M13, even the Farah and XM4. But currently, the C58, along with the Krig, are the meta kings. On it, you'll want the Agency Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Field Agent Grip, 55 round mag, and then the 3x scope. And those are the 7 most overpowered weapons in Warzone right now.